Hello. Today we are being interviewed by the EFC. You can follow them on Twitter at Fringe Edinburgh and on Instagram at the Edinburgh Fringe Com. How exciting!
How lovely.
My name's Jake Mace. I am the writer and director of Space Junk, a Soviet musical, which is coming to the Edinburgh Fringe in August.
My name is Mike Dory. Along with Jake, I am a co-founder of Slipshod Theatre, and I am also in the cast this year as Yuri Gagarin in Space Junk.
That's right. So the show, I suppose, is an exploration of Yuri Gagarin's fame after returning and being the first man to travel into space. How he kind of deals with it, the trouble that he faces in terms of dealing with the Soviet Union and becoming their mouthpiece, and also with dealing with fame and alcohol and parties and all sorts of other bits and pieces, really.
Lovely. What does a successful Fringe run mean to you? For us as a company, a successful Fringe run means something that we can be proud of and look back on, and hopefully every year. So this will be our third Edinburgh Fringe, our fifth Fringe overall.
Yes.
And I'm of the opinion, I'm sure you are, as well, that every time we've stepped it up.
Yeah.
So a successful Fringe run for us at this point is making it better and more accessible and more enjoyable, and to get a bigger audience reaction than ever before.
Yeah.
And we're on track to do that. So
We
for
are.
us, that is...
It's already been quite successful.
It's already been...
It's
It's been going
It's
all
been
right.
nice.
We haven't done anything like this before.
No, this is quite new.
This
for
is
us.
fun.
But it's good fun, yeah.
For us, this is a step up.
So, Mike, what 3 top tips have you got for Edinburgh Fringe first-timers?
Well, I'm so glad you asked.
Oh,
Jake.
right.
I'm so glad you asked. So, for a punter, going to the Edinburgh Fringe, see as much variety as you can.
Definitely.
Go see singers, musicians, comedy, one-man shows, one-woman shows, big ensemble casts, comedies, dramas, stand-up, improv.
There's so much there. That's the joy.
You
of
might
it.
as well see as much as you possibly can. Plan in advance the stuff you definitely want to see, but also build in some time where you can just explore and see random things that you weren't expecting or didn't even know was on.
Yeah.
Because quite often the best stuff and the stuff you will find most surprising, most enjoyable is when you have no idea it's there and you haven't planned it at all. And third thing is book your accommodation early, because it's an expensive place to be in August.
Yes.
Is
Oh
Edinburgh.
my god, yes. So yeah.
As performers, marketing, get that started as early as you possibly can.
Social media is a great one for that.
100%.
Really. I mean, people always say that word of mouth is really important at the Fringe,
Yeah.
and people don't realise that extends to social media much more than it used to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something we've learned, particularly the past 2 years we've been doing
Yeah.
it. I think is to get on that.
And it's not just the way you promote yourself, but it's also what you are using to promote yourself.
Yeah.
So, a distinctive poster design, for example,
Mm-hmm.
press photos, rehearsal photos that are distinctive and dramatic, if your show allows for that sort of thing, to catch the eye, basically.
Definitely, I think that's it.
If you do have a show which involves lovely jazzy costumes that will stand out, flyering is a must, but flyering in costume and character has proven so beneficial for us and a number of other shows whose cast members and companies we have met as a result of doing the Fringe.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I think it is, isn't it? Make friends, network,
Yes.
meet other brilliant people at the Fringe. Some of the best people I've ever met. I've met at the Fringe. They've been you're a lot of fun.
They're lovely.
Fringe people.
Shout out to all you guys.
All you guys.
So Jake,
Oh, okay.
I understand.
Do you?
A little birdie told me that you were inspired by Memorial to Gagarin in Tiraspol.
Tiraspol. Excellent pronunciation. It'll get better before the show.
It's going
I promise.
well.
So yeah,
I don't have to say that in the show. Thank
that's
God.
fine.
So tell us more about your adventures in Eastern Europe, Jake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the research that I did for this show and to make the show as authentic as we could was going to Eastern Europe, travelling, and the Tiraspol story is actually quite a good one. I was in Tiraspol, which is in Transnistria, which is like a semi-recognised state, which still has a lot of its Soviet heritage on display. And I was walking down the street with my guide, and he was kind of abruptly interrupted by a local news crew who were doing some sort of puff piece on superheroes, and he was asked what his favourite superhero was in Russian, and he said Yuri Gagarin. which I found a really interesting comment because when you think of superheroes, obviously he's not necessarily the first person that would come to mind. And then he took me to see the bust of Yuri in Tiraspol Centre, and that was kind of what opened the door to exploring his story and what made him have such a cult of fame in the Soviet Union and in those countries now. Yeah. So, Mike, one for you. Gagarin was a global star. He enjoyed his fame. If he were alive today, how do you think he would be celebrated?
It's an interesting one because he did enjoy his fame to a point, and then it ultimately became his downfall.
Yeah.
So I think if he were alive today, he would be celebrating, assuming, of course, he had learnt from his mistakes. He would be celebrating rather quietly, I think. Maybe by himself in a cottage.
Champagne in the cottage.
Champagne in the cottage.
I
don't think. I think if he had lived to today, he would not be, and not as a result of his advanced age, but because of previous experience, the
rush of fame. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely. Cool. So what's next?
How are we promoting the show in the run-up to the Fringe?
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, there's a lot that we're doing. Follow us on our Twitters, at Slipshod Theatre, which is the same for our Instagram and Facebook as well. You can see a lot of exciting press photos that we've taken recently of the show. In costume, we've got all the costumes sorted, which is really exciting to have. And we've been looking at other sorts of things like outdoor advertising, that sort of stuff. We're doing a preview show here in our hometown of Winchester. At the end of July, so there's a lot of stuff that build up to the Fringe, but as I say, that main thing has always been the social media lately anyway, and we've really tried to build on that this year. I think it's gone really well. I'm really pleased with it.
100%. So our show does feature a live band. So it's our first musical. It's Space Junk, a Soviet musical. Will there be live singing too? Yes,
absolutely. It is musical.
You will be treated to that.
There'll be lots of songs from David Bowie, from Elton John. Many more, in fact, in there, and some new music as well, which is really exciting. That our composer Maddie Ashman's putting together.
Very talented,
very talented.
Is our Maddie?
Absolutely. Let's have a look.
Yes. Sorry. So, in our general research for the show, was there anything you discovered about life in the Soviet Union that surprised you? You quite like learning about European history anyway.
I'm going to be doing it at university.
Yes. So was there anything that took you by surprise?
Well, I think the main thing was that cult of fame about Yuri, ultimately, that really surprised me. That it just doesn't exist for the kind of astronauts that we have in the West. Certainly in the same, it doesn't enter the same cultural sphere. I don't think. No. So it was really interesting and very surprising to learn the extent to which that kind of...
And we do explore that in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
How the story has to be changed in order for... So Yuri's story is amazing anyway. Yeah. But in the eyes of the Soviet Union, it must have been changed to be the absolute perfect version of that same story that could possibly be.
Definitely.
And some of those were tiny details and some of them were huge things that were altered.
Yeah. Mike, do you know any Russian songs?
Well... I'm a big fan of, oh God, what's it called?
The Kalinka.
The Kalinka.
The Kalinka.
You can't not love the Kalinka. Yeah. It's iconic. It's a den, 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 den,
Where can we see the where can we see the show? Where and when can we see the show?
You can see the show at Surgeons Hall, venue number 50.
Oh, it's not the venue number. You can see the show at the space at Surgeons Hall, 9-10 every day from the 2nd to the 17th of August, except the 11th.
Yeah,
and Mike will learn that.
I'll turn up. I'll probably.
You'll be there. That's when you can see the show. You can also see it in Winchester if you're around.
How much does it cost? How much are tickets?
It's £8 per ticket, and then we've got some concessions as well. We'd love to see you there. You can also see us on the Mile. You won't miss us because we'll be in spacesuits.
Yes. And if any of you who know what Yuri Gagarin looks like are wondering how the hell I'm going to play him, I am having some drastic modifications to the hair on my face and head, and I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
I'm thrilled.
Thank you so much for having us at the EFC. Please
Thank
follow them
you,
on your
EFC.
social medias if you've been watching this interview.
Yeah.
And have a great time at the Fringe if you're heading up there.
Thank you.